Hello students, I welcome you all to Current Affair lectures by Azad ICS Academy, and today we are going to study the current affairs of 15th of Feb. Okay, let us see what are the important articles. We have two important articles that we're going to discuss today, and the first important article that we have here is dealing with China's weaponization of e-supply chains. Okay, so the mid-January 2024, China restricted travel for its engineers and technicians working in Indian manufacturing facilities. So anybody who are working, especially China has restricted travel of its, means the engineers who are working in our country or in any other country, they have been restricting. Okay. Chinese workers already in India were recalled and export of specialization manufacturing equipments were halted. So if they are exporting any kind of manufacturing equipments, all of them were basically kept on halt. Anybody who was working in India who was a Chinese was called back. So all these things were basically done by China. Now, why China is trying to do all these things? So, introduction. These restrictions have severely impacted production as China has a monopoly on certain high tech manufacturing equipment. So, they have a monopoly on a lot of high tech, equipments. Okay. Taiwanese workers have been bought to fill the gap, but the lack of specialization equipments is a major hurdle. So, hence, anyways, we have bought in a lot of Taiwanese, but they do not have that much amount of, equipments or knowledge. Hence, that has been a problem again. Geopolitical competition and Chinese strategy. China is using economical tools to slow down India's manufacturing growth. So if any Chinese who is working in India, they think that they will be able to give that skills to Indians. So hence India can become better. That is why they do not want any Chinese to work in any other country. So hence they are calling them back as well. And they are trying to slow down India's economy with their manufacturing sector and their economical tools by limiting the transfer of technical transfer from Chinese workers to Indian workers. So as I already told you, why they are asking the Chinese workers who are there in India to come back to China is because they do not want any kind of technology transfer. See, it is quite obvious that if you're sitting with a person who is very intelligent, you will also become intelligent. If you're working with any Chinese employee, if they have any technological knowledge, that knowledge can get transferred to India, and that is what they do not want. Okay. So the restriction on specialized machinery disrupt production, making it hard for India to establish itself as a global manufacturing hub. So because of this, what has happened here is it is becoming very difficult for Indians to become a manufacturing hub. Chinese actions ensure that the global companies remain dependent on the supply chain. So China want us to depend on them. Okay. India's role in China's +1 strategy. Okay. So what is India play? How is India playing a role? Let us see that. See, global companies are reducing reliance on China by diversifying production to other countries, including India, Vietnam, and Mexico. A lot of countries like India, Vietnam, and Mexico, what we're trying to do here is we are not just depending on China, but we're also trying to, put ourselves into other countries, or we are trying to find out manufacturing in other countries as well. India has been a key destination for this shift as its manufacturing sector is growing in a similar way to China's past development. How China was doing development in the past, similar kind of development is seen in India. So hence a lot of people from China, where are they going to come? There is a possibility that they can come to India itself for their investment. Okay. China want to limit Indian rise as a competitor and remind global companies of its own critical role in production. So China does not want India to come to its level. So hence China is trying to, show its power. It's saying that we are the only destination where you can come and do investment, not India. India may not do better because it's not having that kind of better equipment. So this is something that it wants to show. That is why China is trying to do this. India's efforts to attract manufacturing investments. How is India trying to do this? The Indian government has actively supported the expansion of major smartphone manufacturing in South India. In South India, you see a lot of smartphone manufacturing is being taking place. In 2023, advanced smartphone models were assembled in Indian factories itself. In Indian factories itself, we are trying to assemble a lot of smartphones. Okay. In this year, by the end of March 2024, India assembled smartphones worth 14 billion. For the first time, a high-end smartphone model was assembled in India in 2024. State governments in South India has prioritized investment in smartphone manufacturing as well. So here we need to understand that in India also, India is also not sitting quiet. What is India trying to do? We are trying to, do a lot of manufacturing. Especially here you can see this fiscal year that is ending March 2024, Apple assembled $14 billion worth iPhones in India through contract manufacturing, Faxin and Tata Electronics. In 2024, for the first time, iPhone 16 Pro models were assembled by India. State governments in South India have prioritized Apple, as a major investment as well. So you can see that a lot of investment is coming here in South India as well. Make in India and government support. So what is happening here is we have to understand that we are having a lot of Make in India concept and government support. Large scale electronic manufacture is key part of Make in India initiative. The product link initiatives schemes have also been increased. Okay, the budget 2025 removed import tax on key mobile components like print circuit boards, the cameras that you have, the connectors, the lithium ion batteries. So all these exports, you will not have to pay any kind of tax, right? So because of this, what will happen here is automatically the assemble of all these things will happen in India, and the manufacturing sector in India will also get improvised. This is something that we have to look into. India relation China and economic dependence. So India and China agreed upon military patrolling rules in October 2024 for 4 years of tension in eastern Ladakh. Despite diplomatic progress, China's economic actions show that geopolitical competition will continue. India still depends on China for manufacturing components and machinery and influence negotiation. India's long-term strategy. See, however, whatever we do, we have to understand that there is some kind of dependence, how we are depending on China for some of the important things. Okay. But India's long-term strategy, what should be the long-term strategy for India? In the short term, India should work with global companies to negotiate with China. In the long term, India must focus on developing its own supply chain and technical expertise. We cannot depend on China for a longer period of time. But short period of time, yes, we can have some kind of relations. But for a longer period of time, we cannot have a long-term relations with China. This is something that we need to understand. Currently, India mainly does a final assembly of smartphones to become fully scalable, manageable local industry must grow. So we are just doing we are just doing assembly. We are not manufacturing anything. So we also have to look into this substance as well. The national manufacturing mission to step up requires strong financial support. We need to have a lot of strong financial support. We need to build in a lot of scale, skills, etc. So all these things needs to be done. We also have to encourage a lot of private capital, okay, in order to create a strong network of Indian contract manufacturers, both in foreign as well as in domestic brands. So not just foreign brands, we also have to make sure that the domestic Indian brands are also getting name and focus. So this is what India needs to do in a longer run, right? So this is one of the important article for today. The next important article that we have here is India US to double bilateral trade by 2030. So again, we have seen that there has been a lot of news that is there when Donald Trump has become the president, and what India is also trying to do to impress them. All these things are there. Okay. Here, let us see. A recent visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji to US include bilateral discussions with President Donald Trump in Washington. Their talks focus on trade, defense, energy cooperation, and strategic partnerships. So these are the things that they're basically talking about. The two sides aim to negotiate for the first time as a part of a mega deal this year as they agree upon broad agenda for trade, defense, and technology. Look at this. Three important things: trade, defense, and technology. Trump announces that the administration has cleared a way to extradite 2611 accused Rana. He calls Indian tariff unfair and problem, agrees to negotiate to reduce this kind of deficits. So deficits. Let us see. India and US have agreed to negotiate the first part of the trade agreement by autumn 2025. India aims to increase energy purchases from USA. So India will do in a lot of energy purchases from USA. Okay. And to address the concerns about the trade deficit, the two countries have to set target to more than double bilateral trade of 500 billion by 2030 under the mission 500. So there's a mission which is called as 500, and we have to double this much amount of money is what they are basically discussing, or double this much amount of trade with these two countries. India is expected to increase its energy imports from USA from 15 billion to 25 billion dollars in the near future. Both nations have agreed to collaborate on the smaller modular nuclear reactors to strengthen India's energy security. If you remember, I think yesterday or day before yesterday's lecture, we had also discussed about what is India trying to do to impress USA. It is trying to amend the Atomic Energy Acts and other act that is there, right? So here you can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to, get more amount of nuclear reactors. Okay. Defense cooperation. So border issues with China. The US president has offered to assist India in managing its border tension with China as well. So if there is an issue that comes with border tension with China, automatically US president is going to help us. Okay. So in terms of defense, also the US is going to work towards providing India with F-35 settled jet fighters in the future. A new decade long-term framework for defense cooperation has been announced. India will procure 6 additional P-8I, P-8 maritime patrol aircrafts to improve surveillance in Indian Ocean region. The US and India will reopen talks to reciprocal defense procurement agreement to ally their defense procurement system as well. The US will review its international tariff to arm regulation to facilitate military technology transfer to India. So these are the things that they have discussed when it comes to uh, military, especially F-35 uh, stealth fighters. Apart from this, you can see there are a lot of other things that they're going to give us when it comes to defense, right? So all these things, they are basically talking about the exchange. Apart from this, the technology for Indo-Pacific cooperation, also a new initiative of autonomous system industry alliance will be also being launched. Okay, so that there is a lot of surveillance that can happen in the Indo-Pacific region, right? The US and India will scale up the joint production and partnership in Indo-Pacific region as well. So we are going to do in a lot of, improvisation. So here, the Mr. Modi told Trump that like him, he kept the national interest at the top of his mind, and he compared Mr. Trump "Make America Great Again" theme as Viksit Bharat. So developed India theme. So they have mega theme, which is nothing but "Make America Again Great" or "Great Again." In India, we have developed India, that is Viksit Bharat. So these are the aims how Donald Trump has kept making America as top priority, India as top priority is for our Prime Minister. This is what is mentioned by Narendra Modi ji, right? Standing beside Narendra Modi ji, the East Room at the joint press conference, Mr. Donald Trump calls Indian tariff unfair and problem earlier in the day. The president has announced a broad policy to reciprocal tariffs. So hence they are also going to change a lot of tariffs is signed by order. Asked by the Hindu whether Mr. Trump would withhold reciprocal tariff given to the trade negotiations has been announced, Mr. Mirsi did not have any definitive answer for this. We do not have any clear, answer for this right now. The bilateral discussions covered a wide range of topics, including defense, trade, and energy technology transfer. But both countries are working to strengthen their economic ties while addressing security and geopolitical concerns. The agreement mark a significant step in deepening India-US cooperation for the future. And it's good because, see, if we are having issues with China, US will help us. We will get better defense technology. We are going to get a lot of help for the procurement of the defense related topic as well. So all these things will help us. So hence it's a good thing, right? So these are some of the important topic for today. I will see you guys on Monday with the next important current affair articles. Till then, thank you so much. If you have any doubts, any questions, any queries, any comments, please put it in the comment section. I'll try to improvise if there is any need. Thank you so much.